You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. And be sure to smash that like button. Earlier this week, Shea Dixon from On3 The Bengal Tiger was here. We asked him what commitment might come and pop next, and he told us the one to keep an eye on was Carius Curne, an offensive lineman out of Arkansas, a former Arkansas commit who decommitted back in March after a visit to LSU. And today, Thursday, Carius Curne made his announcement with a video that he posted on social media.
Carius Curne. He is an offensive lineman / defensive lineman. He's the number one player out of the state of Arkansas for the 2025 class.
Mr. Carius Curne. Which school are you going to commit to this evening?
I'd like to commit to LSU Tigers.
There it is, a simple video, but Carius Curne announces he will be a member of the LSU 2025 class. A few of the details on Curne, and then I'll tell you a couple of other takeaways that I have from this this commitment in particular. So Curne is 6'4", 315. So this is a massive commitment, both literally and figuratively. 6'4", 315. On3 ranks him as the number one interior offensive lineman in the country. Now, if you look at the composite that combines On3, 247, ESPN, and Rivals, he is the number 5 interior offensive lineman in the country, the 84th best player nationally. If you just look at On3, they think very highly of Carius Curne. They have him as the 25th best player at any position and the number one interior offensive lineman in the country. So this is another big-time get for Brad Davis. And you're talking about also a guy that had offers not only and had been committed to his in-state Arkansas, but was down to Missouri and Ole Miss and had offers from everybody. Georgia had offered. Everybody had offered. I mean, again, he's the number one interior offensive lineman in the country, according to On3. He's a top 100 overall player in the composite. So a massive get. And also for LSU, adding Carius Curne now is your 12th commitment. And LSU is the number 2 class nationally when you look at the On3 recruiting rankings or the composite recruiting rankings. Ohio State maintains their spot number 1 but again, Ohio State's number 1 with 16 commits. LSU is number 2 with 12. Bama is up to number 3, but they got 17 commits. This is very clearly an instance of quality over quantity. LSU has the fewest commits among the top, among the top 7, and they're ranked 2nd in the country. So LSU is building a monster class, and we know Carius Curne, the number 1 interior offensive lineman, Bryce Underwood, the number 1 quarterback, Harlan Berry, the number 1 running back. You got Jabari Antoine, who's a top 10 cornerback in the country. LSU is just building a massive, massive class here. A few things. I think we have to give major kudos to Brad Davis. When Carius Curne committed, he gave an interview to On3, and I want to read this quote. Quote, "It's about developing me in every aspect of my life," speaking of his relationship with Brad Davis. "He's real honest and tells me this will be hard, but they have the resources and people to develop me as a person, a student, and as an athlete." Y'all, if I rewind the clock a couple of years, there was a lot of y'all who were ready to run Brad Davis out of town. And you know who you are, and I don't need to go do old takes exposed on Twitter. You know who you are, and you probably all have done a mea culpa by this point. But if you remember, Brad Davis was the only member of Ed Orgeron's staff that Brian Kelly retained. And in that first game of Brian Kelly's era, Garrett Dellinger started at center. Will Campbell, as a true freshman, was your left tackle. Emory Jones didn't take long before he took the job over at right tackle. But the point being, I mean, what he inherited, what was left in the wake of the Orgeron era was a mess. And by the end of that 22 season, LSU was really good on the offensive line. And last year, they were downright dominant. And this year, they might just be the best offensive line in college football. Brad Davis was Brian Kelly's smartest decision when he got hired, retaining Brad Davis. And look at the pipeline of talent that he has pumped through here, starting with Will Campbell and Emory Jones. I know Lance Hurd is no longer here, but you got a 5-star Lance Hurd here. DJ Chester, a 4-star, is about to be your starting center. Weston Davis, Cohen Eccles, Ethan Callaway, now Carius Curne. I mean, LSU has not recruited on the offensive line at this level for as long as I have covered the team, and I'm about to go in season 18. So this is incredible what they're doing on the offensive line. And a big part of the credit goes to Brian Kelly because he has recruited and developed and focused on offensive line. We talked about that the day he got hired. But also Brad Davis, who's been incredible at identifying this talent, getting them to campus, and developing them once they're here and turning them into professionals, into draftable players and high draftable players. So when I look at Curne specifically and how this may shape out, and by the way, Shea Dixon, when he was with us, also talked about Curne and the success that Brad Davis has had.
He is the number one player in Arkansas. He's also the number one interior offensive lineman in the country on 3. That would give Brad Davis 3 O-line top 100 commits already this cycle. He was committed to Arkansas at one point, visited Baton Rouge in the spring, and a couple of days later backed off that commitment. Now that he's had the official visit, I think things are looking good there. And no shocker, Matt, it feels like every year, because it is, that Brad Davis has been on the staff. He's put together arguably the best position group of anyone on the coaching staff.
3 top 100 commits already in this class on the offensive line. So when you look at what the future of LSU's offensive line looks like right now, keep in mind, you're losing 4 starters after 2024. You may have the best offensive line in the country this year, but you're losing Campbell and Jones and Frazier and Dellinger. DJ Chester will be back as your starting center. But every other job in 2025 is going to be open. I fully expect LSU will go into the transfer portal, try to add veteran depth, because you can. You certainly want to recruit and develop your talent, and they've done a great job of that. But just like a couple of years ago when they added Miles Frazier, if you have 4 starting jobs open and you can add a guy who's got 20-plus starts in college football, you do it. You add someone with veteran depth, and you hope that your young guys continue to grow and develop and become awesome players like Campbell and Jones and Dellinger all have, and Chester hopefully will. And you've got a long list of those guys. I just rattled off all the names. But there's no reason why Carius Curne couldn't come in 2025 and compete for a starting job at one of the guard spots. It's a giant unknown right now, but we saw them start Campbell and Emory Jones when they were freshmen because they were the best guys. And so that's a hell of a testament that Brian Kelly and Brad Davis can go to Carius Curne and say, look, we're losing 4 starters, including both guards. You come in here as a true freshman, you're ready to roll. There's a chance you could be starting game 1 as a true freshman because it's already happened within the last 3 seasons. So a massive get for LSU for a ton of reasons. It's going to be a giant position of need after this season. It is a player who's from the state of Arkansas. You got him to flip from Arkansas to LSU. A lot of reasons that you love adding Carius Curne. So congrats to Brian Kelly, Brad Davis, and the Tigers on adding another blue-chip prospect to this 2025 class. I know we talked about it yesterday, but when you start to try to project, 2 and 3 years down the line, you look at the bumper crop this class in 2025 and the bumper crop in Louisiana in 2026, and it's easy to see how LSU is going to have a championship caliber roster again in the very near future. 1-85. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.